What's going on, everybody? Welcome to On Screen Live. I should say this special primetime edition of On Screen Live. This is part 2 of our coverage of the 62nd Annual New York Film Festival. My name is Andrew Jupin, and I am joined alongside two other, well, I almost said night owls, but it is 7 o'clock p.m., folks. We're just incredibly old. Some midlife night owls, all right? We have, you know him, you love him, Mr. Eric Siska.
Welcome to prime time, bitch. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Now you're gonna pull my head through the computer.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
You know?
What if I could
Imagine
grab
you did
people
that.
through this?
Ooh, yeah. Grabo-vision.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like that. Something,
Yes.
you know.
And
which
it is.
shows- yeah.
It is very late at night for me. I go
So
to bed
late.
7:30 every night.
Is that right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
how you
right.
keep your youthful complexion.
Beauty sleep.
Speaking of beauty sleep, here's a man who's no stranger to a good nap, Mr. Chris Cabin. Come on.
People like you are exactly why Grab-O-Vision didn't take off. Is because you just be grabbing everybody. You would just be
right.
grabbing all
You could
over
grab
the place.
so much better.
I mean, not better, just less. What I'm talking about is quantity,
Yeah.
not quality.
Anyway, we're having fun with the video format. If you don't watch this on the video version, check out the video version on YouTube.
That's
Indeed.
right. Big hello to all of the mid-evening night
Yes.
owls.
We're midway
have,
to midnight.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
Midway to midnight. Joining us in the chat, of course, familiar faces like Sandwich Jones and Greg Bafuto, Bucyrus87, of course, Sucked. Little late night Sucked.
Yeah, that's
uh-oh.
a wonderful thing to do at night.
I'm glad, I'm sorry that we left these graphics up and everything because it makes it look like we're here to discuss the New York Film Festival when actually we are here to discuss Saturday Night. The beautiful Saturday Night Live movie that has come out that Jason Reitman has just directed the heck out of. And we're just
Did
here
you
for
see
a
this?
special. Oh yeah. Oh baby. I saw it.
Well, give us a little details. Give us some details. We'll give me some typical.
Yes.
Give me some
It's-
typical.
It blows. It sucks. It's terrible.
Whoa,
It's
wait, a
terrible.
Jason Reitman movie that doesn't pass the smell test? That's weird.
What
Well,
was your
one-
issue, Chris? What was your issue with it? The guy playing John Lovitz wasn't right for you. What?
John Lovitz?
No one's
was
playing Lovitz,
On the
man.
first, are you talking about Belushi? Is that who you're talking about?
Oh, we got an SNL fan here. He knows everything. Here. Expert over
Yes,
here.
I did pay attention to the movie. I do apologize for that. No, I mean, well, the problem is that, and Eric, I know this is something that's a bit of a hobby horse of yours. Jason Reitman is maybe one of, I don't know, 2 people in the entire world, including Lorne Michaels, who thinks Lorne Michaels needs to have his dick sucked in the middle of just to make him look like a hero, to make him look like a guy who really knows TV, knows everything about it, is just a brain beyond a true galaxy brain. Only those 2 guys really could think that.
So we're loving Lorne Michaels. Is that
He's just
what this
like
is
the
about?
snappiest, like fake it till you make it broker you've ever seen in your life.
He's a booster. He's a nice guy. He's trying to rise these stars up. What a beautiful story.
Well, that not exactly, but yeah, you know what? That's fine. That's a fine way to see it.
Okay.
It's I mean, like, we almost went and saw it yesterday, but we decided to stay home, which was fine. It seems like it's something I'll rent. I mean, I can't weigh in on it. Of course, I haven't seen it. I don't have, nothing personally against him. I've never met him. Jason Reitman's movies just don't do it for me. I liked Thank You for Smoking, and that was like almost 20 years ago. So, there's that going on. I have one question for you.
Sure.
Because the thing that I saw that I was like, I just don't know, because I super love the guy, but I just don't know. Matthew Rhys as George Carlin.
Oh no! All the actual like treatments of the like legends are pretty horrible. Like none of them are like, oh, it's not the fault of the actors, mind you. It's the writing.
Sure.
It's 100% the writing. All the actors are doing as best as they can with this shit. But Matthew, like the guy I forget. Does everybody know who he plays?
I just said it, George Carlin.
Oh, well, there we go. George Carlin. I love George Carlin, and like if you're gonna pull that lever, I would hope you would put some like work into it. And like I already knew he was kind of a miserable bastard as well as being a comedic genius. They just really go on the miserable bastard side of it.
Right.
And I'm like, I guess that's supposed to give this urgency, like, oh my God, on top of everything else, the beautiful God Lorne has to deal with George Carlin being a little bit of a nitpicker. Well, you know what? I don't need any of it. I don't need that. I don't need the Belushi contract negotiation shit. I don't need any of it.
Oh, really?
Wow.
It's so like it was a place you could have made an entertaining movie here, and he just is like, no, let me just give you everything you already know, most of it, and then like the rest of it is just like, it's not funny. Also, it's just like, there's one thing. I guess you would want it to be, wouldn't you? It's Saturday Night Live movie.
But if you're trying to make it as like this dramatic retelling of the most pivotal night in television
it wants
history,
laughs. It's very clearly wants laughs. Like that's not. It's not acting like this is. This is not Steve Jobs. It's it's something else.
Let me ask you something quick,
okay,
Chris.
Yes.
We're broadcasting on YouTube. We got to keep this for the kids. You know, this is a show for the kids.
I understand.
Right. Finn Wolfhard.
Let's
talk. How was he? He's this generation's actor.
Barely in it, like really
God
barely.
Damn it!
Like and for the better, I would say he's like the page, like the assistant.
One of the fake characters. All right, yeah.
Hey, you couldn't make the show without the page.
It's
true.
That's
true. But like any kind of like fictitious or like mashup character, I kind of don't care. I will tell you a cool thing to come out of this movie existing though, and it has nothing to do with like anything you actually see on screen. But I saw a video that Jason Reitman posted where they were at like the production office or something. They were showing Aykroyd a scaled model of how they were going to build the studio for the movie. And it was kind of neat because you could see Aykroyd, and like it must have been a really well detailed model because he was like, oh yeah, and then right back here we had all these cool dressing rooms. So right back where the audience was sitting, they didn't know the actors were right behind him the whole time. You know, he's like, you can see him like having all of these memories, and I was like, all right, that's kind of neat. Like I'd rather watch a not made for TV, like well polished, like SNL documentary, frankly.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like do like a real one, not like a TV special that you're gonna sell on DVD later. Like someone good make an actual
just somebody who is not going to spend the whole time giving Lorne Michaels a hand job. The man's gotten plenty of them over his storied career. I don't know why we would need to do it again. It just seems like a silly thing to do.
Lorne is played by the little Spielberg, right?
Sammy Fableman.
Yeah. How is he like?
He's really good. I mean, like again, what's his name? Cooper Hoffman's very good as Dick Ebersol. It has nothing to do with the actors. The actors are all doing their job and doing a very good job of it. It's just like, and like again, yes, the technical workers are also doing everything very like. It was convincing, if that's like the high bar I'm setting for what I want art to be now. Like, but like everything else about it just kind of felt like, well, did you know this? Well, did you hear this? It's like the first page on the IMDb trivia of Saturday Night Live. If it was the first episode, it would be like all the big hits of like Belushi with the contract. Aykroyd and like Chevy are fucking everybody. Chevy thinks he's like a big fat or big skinny dynamo. You know, like the same shit you've always heard.
Sure. So I'm sensing a thumbs down of sorts.
That's, you know, if we're going the Ebert route, yes, I think I would have to be with the down.
Okay, how many stars? Let's go to the star route. Stars out of 5. Out of 5.
Out of a full 5, I'm gonna say, you know, for the actors, I'll bump it up to a 2. It was a 1.5, but with the acting, I'll give it a full 2.
All right, this is, I think, a good place to close your review of Saturday Night. Jason Reitman.
Well, that's why we gathered here, of course, is to do this. It's just to talk about Saturday Night.
What is better, Saturday Night, the movie,
sure,
or the longer-ish, almost feature-ish length pilot for Aaron Sorkin's Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip? The show that I will say
equal. Yeah, I would say like equal. As far as like entertainment value, you're talking about the same side. It's a little, you know, Sorkin's language is a little bit more embarrassing even when you like it, but like there as like acting talent there, it's about, you know, matched up. It's similar amount of talent on each side. I guess And they're about the same. Well, no, actually, the pilot would have to be shorter. So you know what? Let's go pilot.
All right, there you go. So look, you never know what's going to happen here on Screen Live. We're supposed to be talking about the films in New York Film Festival,
right?
But here's a movie that was set in New York, so that
it was
Saturday night. So Saturday night, you wanted it to be fun, great time. Felt more like Monday morning.
It did. It felt just like Monday morning, like right after you get out of the shower and you have to rush.
That's your Gene Shalit review
yes, sir.
of the movie. All right, let's get into our own reviews. You do have the mustache. Yes, you can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the. You know what though? You need the fucking Krusty the Clown hair.
Yeah. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get some weird product in this.
If you get it to there, honestly, I will pay for whatever treatment you have to if you can get it to
Thank you. Pay for the medical expenses.
I will. When it starts bleeding.
That you start, dude, but with your hair though, you start fucking looking like young Einstein or some shit.
Even better.
Yeah.
Even better.
Well, I've only seen Gene Shalit in person. I've never seen Yahoo Serious in person, so I don't know either way how that's working. All right, let's get into some movies we saw. This is the second half of this. There's still some screenings. But this is the extent of our coverage. It's what we've been able to see that our schedule will allow. So let's get into it, folks. First up, a slow one, but one that honestly I'm kind of still thinking about well over a week later at this point. But the film is The Damned by Roberto Minervini. Now, interesting thing here. We got a Civil War, like an American Civil War drama directed by this dude. So it's kind of interesting take.
Spaghetti Western.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
I mean, he's very American. All of his movies are very American. They all are about America in one way or the other.
I will decide who is American and who.
Oh, really?
Not.
Okay, I did not know that.
I'm joking. Lord Michael's not American.
Oh, there you go.
That's actually true. He's literally Canadian.
Exactly.
No, so this movie, it's very quiet. It's very slow. It's about a group of Union soldiers who are sent west to sort of keep their eye on the Western territory in anticipation of the Confederacy or outlaws coming their way, trying to seize California and whatnot. Right. That's basically the gist of it. It's a lot of waiting around. But it's all of these really, I think, powerful meditations on why people sign up for war. It's asking these questions about the purpose of war. Why are we doing this? What do I care? What's in it for me that I'm doing this? A lot of questions you don't see in a ton of war movies.
I think it was pretty good. I think it was pretty effective. I like the way first of all, the way it's filmed is really gorgeous. A lot of crazy looking lenses in a good way. And the way they film combat, it's like you don't know who's shooting at you or what's going on. I think they get the idea of war pretty well, of how it's like chaos. I ultimately really enjoyed this one, but it is slow and it's got a few parts of it that could have obviously been better. But this, I think it's a pretty strong little movie because it's short, right? It's like 80 something.
It's very short.
Yeah, super short. 88. Yes, exactly right.
I mean, that's I think Minervini, all of his movies look about this. They have a very similar look to them.
We should say for people at home, the flick that I think got most play around here, What You Gonna Do When the World's on Fire? Yes. He directed that. It was in New York Film Festival at some point. Yeah. He had Stop the Pounding Heart, which was in New Directors 10 years ago. New Directors, New Films. Anyway, sorry.
And the other side, which is about politics down south right before the 2016 election. So have fun with that one if you want to. I what I like usually about his movies, especially The Other Side and World's on Fire, is the talk. And there isn't really a lot of talking in this. It's very
not at all.
It's a lot of statements and inner reasoning coming out to the front. None of it. Conversations aren't really being having that much here. Maybe one or two. I love the action scenes. The action scenes are amazing, and I kind of want to see him do more of that stuff. But I did find myself kind of looking for just a little bit more of the inner lives of these guys, of the how these guys talk about, like, even if it didn't feel convincing, to get me a little bit more of their inner thoughts coming out. Even if you had to do a damn narration, I would have been fine with that even. But it still looks incredible. There's like it looked great on a big screen.
It definitely did. Yeah,
I mostly like it.
My biggest beef with it was a lot of the actors in it. I think we were maybe like a little fast and loose with the script, like make it conversational. You know, I don't know to what degree there was improv or anything like that, but you know, it's very conversational and naturalistic feeling as they talk. But the problem is, it's like modern feeling, like the way some of the actors speak is very anachronistic sounding. There's an actor at one point he's going on about something and he keeps putting like in. There was a moment where I would realize it. I was like, wait a second, this is like the fucking 1860s. What are you doing?
Yeah, it shouldn't be like, it should be reckon. I reckon. Oh, you know what else I reckon?
Yeah, you know, so like a little things like that. But you know, for a small, gorgeous looking movie, I think it's an interesting thing to check out. It's since we saw it, it actually got picked up by Grasshopper Film, which makes all the sense in the world. Yeah. Those guys will know exactly what to do with it. Release TBD, but you know, it'll probably be streaming pretty fast and all that stuff. But yeah, again, I don't know. Like I'm a sucker for like big vistas. It's been an interesting year for watching Western movies on the big screen in one way or another. Mr. Costner.
Yes.
Sorry, Chris.
I hope you're listening.
Don't gotta apologize to me.
This is for me and Kevin. Okay.
Kevin,
I love you.
Buy him a banana milkshake. I hear he loves them.
Close your ears. I love you, Kevin.
Is that right? Banana milkshake?
There was some video I've seen of him like going to whenever he's at like a festival or like at a stop where he's doing a Q&A, he tries to find banana milkshakes around, and like this is a shot of him like casually sipping one and being like, fantastic.
Ooh, I don't know if I like him anymore. After this has come to light, I don't think I like him anymore.
Really? You know? Oh man, they're delicious.
A banana milkshake? Where are you getting a banana milkshake?
In Traverse City.
That's not near me.
I'm sure you could find one, Eric. I'm sure. And you know what? You're a grown man. You can make one. I think you could.
So
I can't make anything.
Does his search history like just match all the tours he's been on, like film festivals or whatever? And it's just like Venice, best banana milkshakes.
Well,
then we go to whatever, Los Angeles, best banana milkshakes. Google.
Well, I wonder if he goes to like Who Cares, Pennsylvania, and he's just like, well, is Hapsburys still here? Oh man, they had the best banana milkshakes. They had, and you know, you dip the fries in them. I know that's a Wendy's thing, but I did it with this. It was fantastic. I can't believe Hapsburys is gone. I'm gonna make a 3-hour movie about it.
R.I.P. Hapsburys. All right, let's get on to the next one here. This is a weird one. This was a funny one. I mean, weird, of course. No stranger, this director. It's the new one from Guy Maddin, also co-directed by Evan Johnson and Galen Johnson. It is called Rumours, and I gotta say, this was the frame they used at TIFF also to promote the movie in their film festival literature and whatnot. And I gotta say, bad move. Yeah. Bad move. It does not represent the movie accurately.
Oh, okay. But I think there are two ways to do this. Are you representing or are you enticing? That is enticing. Big stupid rain in the middle of the woods. I'm like,
is
that
man, enticing?
That is very enticing to me. I saw that and I was like, I'm in. I'm 100% in.
Or if you're thinking about maybe enticing people to actually buy a ticket, cast a wider net, a more general audience, how about a nice frame of all the fucking great actors that you have in this movie? Like, put that up there. Maybe you got a little something. I just think this raises a certain kind of expectation that the movie, while it is weird, like, I don't know, there's something about this that makes it look like the fucking, like, everything hinges on this brain, and it kind of doesn't. There's so much more to the movie.
The brain is a very small side character. Okay,
yeah. I mean, most of the scenes are with Alicia Vikander, and that's kind of it. They have a little thing going on, and that's about it.
But to your point, Andrew, it is a little more grounded than you would expect, despite being very weird. It's about all like the world leaders coming together for the G7 summit and how they have to come up with this arbitrary statement, and then they are left alone to their own devices without their staff, and what happens in this weird world-changing perhaps event that is correlating around them. I found it to be pretty good. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, it's got like sort of like Boonwell vibes, almost a little bit. Like we keep trying to do this thing and we can't seem to do it, and all of these like extra things outside are happening to us, and then like the joke just gets bigger and bigger every time like wilder, more heightened things are happening. Maybe something in the statement about like they still working on this precious statement. It's very funny.
It's straight up a comedy, a complete comedy.
It's a straight up comedy.
I mean, you do not ask me to dislike a Guy Maddin movie. It's just I like the guy too much. I like his ideas. I like the way he makes things. This, I mean, to me, actually, this is probably his most normal movie in a long time. Like, sure. I don't know if he makes many. Like, Forbidden Room, if anybody's seen it, is not a movie you could describe easily. This one's pretty easily describable, at least.
Sure.
You won't get all the details, of course, but I do like. All the Canadian jokes are great. The fact that the head of Canada is like the most handsome guy in the world, and like swoons with Angela Merkel, Kate Blanchett.
She's definitely got like the Angela haircut, which is great.
Demeanor, the whole thing. Like I kind of prefer him when he really goes out on a limb and goes real weird with it. There's a really good. His version of Vertigo, The Green Fog, just a stunning piece of work. Like I just love watching his stuff, and this was no different. I including The Big Dumb Brain. I love The Big Dumb Brain.
I love that beer movie you did way back in the day.
The Saddest Music in the World.
Yeah.
I'm very Guy Maddin illiterate for the most part. I'm aware of Saddest Music in the World, and I've seen My Winnipeg, and now this. Yeah, I he's just a fella I'm not terribly familiar with, and I had not heard of the two Manitoban directors that he's also working with here. I will say also, Charles Dance as the president of the United States of America, just doing an English accent, very much just acting like an English guy while also like sleepy Joe Bidening it up kind of a performance.
The big fat French guy from Beau is Afraid. I forget. He's so good. Merchand or something like that. What's amazing about this guy?
Merchand.
Yes. Danny Merchand. He's really good in this, and he's really good in Beau is Afraid. But like, it's so weird to me because like what I know, and if anybody's been watching French movies or French dramas lately, he's known for like this incredibly dark divorce drama called Custody, about the getting of the custody of a child between a mother and father, and it's a very pot boiler. Like, what is happening between these two people? You can't really tell what the extent of things are the whole time. It's like a really tense movie where he's playing a guy like who might be the most evil person in the world, and like you're just so then all of a sudden see him do this in Beau is Afraid, where he's being so goofy and so like madcap. It was just a delight.
American audience also saw him in Inglourious Bastards. He was the French farmer that gets questioned by Hans Landa.
Right in the beginning, yes.
Right.
That's great.
Oh, that's right.
Probably
I was
the best
afraid
team.
he's Jeeves, right? The Jeeves character there. That's his name in Beau's Afraid.
I think so. Yes. What the guy who's with Nathan Lane and
Yeah.
You're right. It's Jeeves.
Yeah. Denny Menochet, totally. Yeah, he's obviously playing the French president. It's a really funny movie. It's a really it's a movie that's meeting the moment in a lot of ways. Just by what the big catastrophe is that they're dealing with. But yeah, like if you want a movie that's like commenting on global warming, and also features multiple scenes with zombies jerking off, this is the motion picture for you. See, so the fucking big brain ain't even the weirdest part of it. Alicia Vikander, I love too. Now this is two really great performances by her in movies this year, because she's also wow, what a knockout performance in The Assessment.
Oh yeah, from TIFF
that we saw at TIFF. Holy Toledo with that movie. So this is out 10/18 limited from Bleecker Street. Interesting pickup from those guys. They are a company that I joke about a lot because they basically pick up sweet, genteel old people movies. Movies with like old people characters for older people, older audiences. Not all, not 100% of the time, but that's kind of like a comfortable pocket they fell in for a number of years. And now like they have that ISS movie earlier this year. So just like rando sci-fi things. They're trying things. They're mixing up their slate. I like it
for them.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were saying something, Chris.
My thing went crazy for a minute, and you guys.
Your thing went crazy. This is a family show.
Your screens.
No,
what I was going to say is, Cate Blanchett is in this nice part of her career now, where like after Tar, she doesn't seem to have much that she wants to prove anymore. Like she's just kind of having fun. So like I feel like this is part of that. Heck, even that crazy Borderlands thing. Even that felt like part of that. I guess Disclaimer is much more of a something she would, but like she's doing a Jarmusch movie next. Like,
really?
Like she's just having fun now. Like she's just like, Tar did what I had to do.
Yeah.
Now I'm just gonna have my fun with these directors I like. I love that. I think that's great.
Has she worked with him before, Jarmusch, or no?
I don't think so.
I guess
maybe I'm wrong.
I do also want to call out in Rumours, Nikki Amuka Bird, who plays the Prime Minister of the UK, is another great performance. She's someone I love when she pops up in things. She works a ton. She's in Old. She's in Knock at the Cabin. She was on Luther for a while. I think it's like another cop or something with him. Yeah. She was, man, she was in fucking Jupiter Ascending even. So she works, she gets around, but she is really, really good in the movie too. Just everyone like consistently funny, and it is kind of a fastly written, a dialogue with that requires to be rapidly performed or whatever. So everybody kind of does a good job keeping up the pace with that. I also love the guy who plays the Italian prime minister, who's like the new one, like he's newly elected, he's new to the G7, and he's just like a total like trying to make everybody happy kind of guy. Pretty fun stuff. All right, the next one, Eric, I think you summed it up best on Letterboxd, my friend. This is the new one from Pablo Larraín. This is Maria with Angelina Jolie. This is it's a Netflix motion picture. So this, Eric, you said it, man. Like this is now the yearly Netflix not good musician biopic movie, or just biopic in general.
Yeah, I did not like the Bradley Cooper Leonard Bernstein movie, and this is of the same mold of, man, right when when we were in the theater and we're sitting in the theater, there's press screening, it's at night, it's like, the new right when you hear that Netflix logo come up, that whatever,
but
I knew we were in trouble. I didn't realize this was a Netflix thing, and then I was like, oh shit. And I did not like this movie at all. I feel bad. I wanted Angelina Jolie to have a win. I really did.
Yeah.
But I just don't think anything comes together here.
I agree with you. I thought I found the whole thing to be quite flat, to be honest with you. I think like she's doing her best, and I think she comes off as good as she does because it's Angelina and she's fucking great. And it was refreshing to see her on the big screen. She's been talking about how she's probably like pretty much done with acting, and she hasn't really been in anything in a while. So this was great because she's like one of the best to ever do it. So on that note, it was nice. It's a Pablo Larraín movie, so the costuming is expensive and gorgeous. But, I just found the whole story of like the final, year in the life of Maria Callas, like so repetitive and
they never go into anything. It's sort of like that Leonard Bernstein movie. It's like, I feel like I somehow know less about the person after sitting here for over 2 hours.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and I liked Spencer and Jackie, so
yeah.
I didn't have an axe to grind with this direct. I wasn't coming to hate this. I just couldn't believe it because a lot of it just feels so dumb. Maybe they should have leaned into more comedy, like the guy that got playing JFK in this movie.
Dude, that's not great. And apparently that guy's JFK and other things.
Is he JFK in Jackie? Is it that guy?
Oh, let me see.
I think someone told me that, but I can't tell you if
that's
true. I think
it is. It is.
Deep.
He's also
that wasn't,
in
that
Fallout.
wasn't great either. He's in what? Fallout as
Mission
JFK?
Impossible Fallout. He's like the handler at the beginning is him. I was like, oh, it's JFK.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and like, okay, so I think the thing that kills a lot of these movies, and this one I think is murdered by this, but like sometimes with like a biopic or whatever, you're trying to like do something different with it, right? And my brain is now instantly, because we were talking about that fucking SNL movie, I'm thinking about Wired, and that's a John Belushi biopic, right? And like unconventional. So I don't think this is a spoiler. It's how the movie is structured, right?
And I guess the guy's great at JFK if he's getting all this work playing JFK, but it does not work here. I kind of another thing about this is like, it's like Maria Callas. How great she is. And then we're just talking about JFK and Aristotle or Nassus and all these men. It almost becomes like a movie about these men in her life versus me really understanding her at all.
Yeah, you kind of have to go into it having a little bit of a knowledge base about Maria Callas,
Yeah, you got to be 65 years old.
What were you talking about?
The thing about the structure that I was saying, right, is it's all around this Cody Smith McPhee character who's like interviewing her, but he's not a real person. He's a personification of medication that she's on. And it is upfront in the movie, folks. So this is not a spoiler, but like,
right.
He's credited as fucking Mandrax, the medicine. And so it's like, it's not even any kind of, there's no stakes to the interview. You know what I mean? Like no one's going to fucking see it. It's a fake nothing. She's talking to medicine in her head,
Yeah, the biggest relationship in the movie is her and like the lead butler who's like kind of in love with her. We've seen this trope 1,000 times. I know it probably happened to her, but I just felt like every single thread of this movie is unfulfilled.
Yeah. The guy who plays the butler is Pier Francesco Favino, who we've seen in some stuff because he's one of the big up doctors in World War Z that they're talking to at one point.
Oh boy.
He's worked with Ron Howard a bunch of times. He's in Rush, Angels and Demons. We've definitely seen this dude around. I feel like there was something else he might have been in that was possibly a previous episode, or maybe it was just that one. But
and I think he's the best part of this movie.
He is. That's why I wanted to give him some credit, because like he is, like him and Angelina, like those scenes I think are really great.
Right.
Oh, but Eric, did you notice the woman who plays her older sister in the movie?
Oh yes. Ramada from Hot Shots.
Valerie Galino, that's right.
yes. I was nice to see her again. I like when she pops up.
Yeah, I last saw her. Wasn't she in Portrait of a Lady on Fire?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right.
She's the old lady. Yeah. Oh, this is a nice cast. I'm sad to hear about this. The cast is really good. Looking at it right now.
That's the other thing too. Is like Cody Smith McPhee, I think is great. I really liked him in what was that movie? Power of a Dog. Right, that's what it was called. The Power of a Dog.
Power of the Dog. Yeah.
Do not recall. Yes,
Kirsten Dunst, also Netflix movie.
Oh yeah,
the Jane Campion movie.
Right.
Alba Rohrwacher is in this. Oh man.
Yes. It's a big cast, and like the performances were all fine, but just like the structure of the movie was killing me. And it's a lot of her just like, oh, will I sing again? Will I not sing again? All these scenes with her secretly doing like voice exercises in a music hall or whatever, but like. She goes into that fucking music hall like 6 times in the movie, and the outcome is the same. The scene is the same. I'm like, guys. You know what I mean? Like it really, really got to me. This is the third time he's made a movie about a troubled dead woman, and I think I kind of just reached my limit. Honestly, that's where I'm at with it.
I do like it now when he breaks from that formula. I like Jackie quite a bit, and I really like the other one about the poet Neruda. The Neruda book.
Neruda's good.
Is really good. But like most of his more interesting stuff has been the stuff that's broken with that. Emma is probably his most interesting movie in the last decade, and it
Emma's
has nothing
really
to do with anybody. It's about a dance troupe that might be evil. That's about it.
Yeah. No, it's fucking great. Or he directed like The Club. That's one that's a very
Club is
very
rough,
different
but
movie.
it's quite good.
He's also apparently, this is weird, he's an executive producer on the Paul Walter Hauser Luckiest Man in America. Chris, how about that?
Oh,
that I saw IFC actually bought, so that's funny.
It's something that happened, so he's interested.
Yeah. It is vaguely based on a true story. I will say, for folks actually interested in the life of Maria Callas, I think you get it a little more in a doc that Sony Pictures Classics put out, maybe 10 years ago at this point, that I believe is called Maria by Callas. Fascinating stuff. And like footage of her. That's the other thing. That's the killer, right? Is the end of the movie, like credits and whatnot, there's like actual video of her. And I'm like, yeah, the doc is superior. Once again, there's a documentary about the same subject, and it's just superior in this case. It's not always the case, but this one, yes, for me.
I'll be honest. Like I'm probably going to still end up seeing this, but the Netflix thing has really taken the zap out of him for me. Like I usually watch all of his things. I haven't seen El Conde yet.
Nope.
And this one, like, I will see it eventually, but it's not going to be on like, I got to get to this. It's going to be like, well, one of these days when it's a rainy Sunday, I got nothing to do. I'll flip it on for 30 minutes and see what's happening. Probably the same thing will happen with El Conde, but and they're both interesting ideas, right? The Conde idea is interesting. This is a subject worthwhile. It's just this Netflix look is really eating away at him, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to stop making movies that are shot to look like fucking perfume commercials, I mean, that because that's what it's getting into. And he works with talented DPs. It's not for that, but it's just you got to just kind of break that. It's not a slump. It's just like so many of them look like that now. Obviously, El Conde is kind of the difference maker there. But anyway, so this is
like that's perfumey look at black and white, like
that's
that. It still
fair.
Looks like what you're talking about.
That's fair. So see for yourself, folks. This will be in hyper limited release Thanksgiving 11/27 here in the States, and 12/11 on Netflix proper. I think that they would be fools to not make this one of their year-end competitors. It's that kind of baity movie. I mean, that was their hope with the Bradley Cooper movie too. They want that goddamn Oscar
nomination.
So bad.
They want a nomination, and like you will get. I mean, it's Jolie not doing a Marvel movie, so of course you're going to get it. But like,
Jesus, I think that was the last time I saw her on the screen, wasn't it?
Me too. Yeah, I think 100%. So. Yeah. But I wish she had more to do. But like Andrew was saying, how those scenes were repetitive with the singing. It's just like she's good, but how many times can I watch her lip sync?
Right? Yeah,
I don't know.
Fair.
That was another thing, man. Like obviously, like Angelina, doesn't sing like an opera singer or whatever, but like the blend of the actual singing onto the image, there was something with the sound mix. I don't know. It just felt very like, now it's lip sync. Now this is the sound for the rest of the movie. Now the lip sync singing is happening. Now it's back to the sound for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like we pressed play on a CD, and
it really did. Yeah, it really. Yeah, I forgot about that, but that's
too bad.
That was another horrifying part of that. Speaking of horrifying, by the way, do you guys know that our final worldwide digital event is happening right before Halloween times?
Oh, really?
Yes. Well, it's our final of the year, but we might do these again if you guys like them. We're doing Scream for our worldwide digital experience on Moment House. Tickets are available, moment.co/WeHateMovies.
I think they dropped that house. I think they just go by Moment.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah.
They're going to come after you, Eric.
Uh-oh.
You know what? You're joking, but there will be an email because I said that.
No. But anyway, 10/23. It's going to be awesome. 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be live talking about the final film of Wes Craven's filmography. 14-day replay afterwards if you can't make it, so that's totally fine. And that after party Q&A, of course, as we've said elsewhere, the patrons at the $8 and $10 levels get that live show bundled in totally gratis. So check all that out. Moment.co/We Hate Movies. Now, we are also in the flesh going out on the road. First up, making our debut in Seattle, Washington, talking about former Mayor Harry. Former Seattle Mayor Harry. No, Harry and the Hendersons. It's Bigfoot lives with John Lithgow and his family for a while. Right? That's it's a wild ass movie.
It's exactly, this is the Pacific Northwest. You guys interact with big feet way more than I do. So this is a movie about that. One of you guys in Seattle encountering a big feet, taking him home, and trouble ensues. Or does it? Or do we start to love him?
I think there are many Sasquatches in that area, and I think they just live there. I think they're peace-loving people.
It's all up in those dense forests, dude. It's like the pot farmers, the serial killers, and the Sasquatches.
Ooh, I think the Sasquatches and the weed farmers have joined forces. I think the they might have an Ewok-like village up in the trees.
They joined forces to fight Slender Man.
Oh, well, that'd be nice. Get him out of here.
Yes.
Hey, big thanks to Brendan Nealon for kicking in some shekels. I appreciate that, pal. Forgot to write something in the chat. Thanks for the show, they say. See you in Boston. Oh, all right.
Well, thank
Brandon,
you, sir.
Brendan, that's very cool of you. And there's your actual note so people can see that it was real. But we are about to tell you all about the Boston show. But right in between that, we're going to be returning to Portland, Oregon, which is a great ass town we've not been to in a minute. But we're going to be there talking about the Goonies back at Mississippi Studios. Love that club.
Yes,
that was a cool ass place.
A lot of fun, and we're talking about the Goonies. Now, you see, you guys up in the Pacific Northwest, you have Goonies. I don't really encounter these that often, and this is about a couple Goonies find lost treasure.
Well, on the East Coast, we call them disgusting shit boys.
That's right.
These kids were ground zero for the disgusting shit boys.
I think
of the 80s. I feel.
Oh yeah.
This one called Chunk,
who is also the originator of the Truffle Shuffle. Him and Sean Astin in this movie are definitely like key elements in the evolution of the disgusting shit boy. They are
absolutely
elemental, I would say, to this whole thing.
Bucyrus in the chat nailing it, by the way. Let's put that comment up.
Oh, let me this one?
No, the one below that.
Oh, there we go. See, the chat's so active.
Yes, you got to have the video. Check out the video feed. So you deal with Gooners, not Goonies. That's right. In the East Coast, we have these guys called Gooners.
Gooners, man.
Pacific Northwest, you have Goonies. And those are way more fun and normal than what we have.
They just jerk off to pirate stuff, so that's fine. Yeah, it's normal stuff.
Unlike what we do on the East Coast.
No, Gooners, I mean, it's a wide open space. You can do whatever you like as a Gooner.
Look out.
Hey, speaking of doing whatever you like, we are doing a movie that we chose ourselves. That's right. In Boston, Pretty Woman, as we make our return to Laugh Boston. Jason Alexander, as I said, looking like he does in the McDLT commercial. So it's that era of Alexander.
We should underline Jason Alexander is barely in this. He's got like
I know.
Right, but he's a villainous antagonist. That is December 4th again in Boston, Massachusetts at Laugh Boston. We'll be talking about Pretty Woman. You see, in Boston, you have pretty women.
Yes.
And in New York, we have pretty women too. So
as I promised,
I don't want to insult anyone.
I'm definitely going to get Steve to sing King of Wishful Thinking for this show. It is undecided yet if he will do a Truffle Shuffle. It would depend on how much beer I get in here before the show. If I can get him really drunk, I might be able to do it.
Too humiliating. I would save him from you.
Totally. I'd have to leave the stage.
So you would?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I have to get one of you to do it, I guess. Now, I have to get.
We'll get one of us to do it. Oh, whose great idea was it?
It's mine, but I'm not doing it.
You're doing it.
No. All ticketing info can be found at whmpodcast.com. Click on our tour page. You get all that ticketing info. We want to see y'all out there. We want to see you at the virtual show. It's going to be a lot of fun all around. Great way to close out the year with 4 shows. And speaking of closing stuff out, let's close out the back half of this review set list we have here. This one is just going to go quick because I turned out to be the only one that saw it. The new one from Luca Guadagnino. It is called Queer. There it is. It's called Queer, and it's put out by A24. This will be at Limited again around Thanksgiving time. So yes, of course, a big end of year push for this movie, obviously being positioned that way. I will say one, I've never read any William S. Burroughs, so I think right there I'm already kind of missing something. Although I vibe with Naked Lunch much better than I did with this movie. This didn't really come together for me, and not for any like huge reasons. It's a well-made Luca Guadagnino movie. He doesn't make poorly made movies. My usual kind of pathetic gripe, it's too long. Like his movies are always too long. So that right away kind of sets me a bit bumming. I mean, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. You kind of feel it. It's a very literarily structured film, right? It's 3 chapters and an epilogue. So the first chapter is a ton. And I was kind of sitting there like waiting for the movie to get going. I will say Daniel Craig is fantastic in the movie as the Burroughs surrogate character. He's really swinging for something here. There's a lot going on in this movie. This is a sexy movie. This is a you're seeing it movie. Boy, it's James Bond like you never saw him before. I'll tell you that. And it's something to behold on screen. It was fantastic to watch on the big screen.
I can't wait to see it for Daniel Craig. For Daniel Craig.
Craig's really great. My beef was kind of with the other guy. Drew Starkey is the actor's name. He's like the supporting character. He's the character that Craig is sort of very like sadly pining over and obsessing over, and just tell me what you want me to fuck. I'll take you on vacation with me, like that kind of shit. And this guy, man, he just did not do it for me. Just really charisma-less, and it made me, it was kind of hard to get into his character and try to think about like what this dude might be thinking here. Like, is he actually super put off by Daniel Craig? Is he humoring him? Is he actually maybe into it? I'm sure it actually like moves around a lot between the movie, but I couldn't tell at any given point what this kid was thinking, and so it just killed me. And then the problem is you have the dynamo of the movie stealer in a tiny supporting role, Jason Schwartzman. I mean, he's got like, it has to be a little fat guy suit on. He's got this big bushy beard. He's just fucking throughout, like just fucking his way through Mexico. Like an amazingly funny character. God. Dude, it's like you've never seen Jason Schwartzman like this. It's amazing that both this year he's got that, and if it comes out, he is also kind of unrecognizable in The Last Showgirl, the Gia Coppola movie. In a tinier role than this. I mean, he has a decent amount of scenes here, playing with Craig a lot, which is cool. So I was perking up every time he came on. And so I have to say, at this point, this is still a totally fine movie for me. It's a total, like, 3.5-star affair. Looks good, pretty people, wild sex scenes, good performances. One journey through an ayahuasca segment, which I found quite interesting. It turns into a Tool video for a moment in the film. So that was, I thought that was kind of cool. But man, when I tell you guys, I was complaining about anachronistic speaking with The Damned. The anachronistic needle drops in this movie. I don't know what he's trying to do.
Wait, what is it, like Limp Bizkit?
No, like you've got like at least 2 Prince needle drops. You've got, it's the movie starts, the credits are we make fun of it. What do we call them? Like dead English girls stuck in a music box, ghost voice kind of cover. Usually reserved for Zack Snyder movies. There's a Nirvana cover there that goes right into an actual Nirvana needle drop of Come As You Are. in a very music video scene. And, you know, maybe the music was working for some people. It just was ripping me out of this movie. And also the Atticus Ross, what's his face score? Trent Reznor, excuse me. Again, like, they make scores I love, and they make music that's really fantastic to my ear, and it just doesn't fit this movie world either. At least in my head. To my ear, it was a huge distraction, and it goes like that throughout the movie with the anachronistic tunage, and it killed this movie for me. So if you're like me and you're perhaps a bit too oversensitive when those decisions are made, because Chris, you asked me about this, right? It's not a full-on lean-in like Marie Antoinette is.
No,
right? The Sofia Coppola movie, right? Like that's what this movie is. And
I like that though. I like that movie anyway.
Oh yeah, the movie's great.
That works because it leans into it. This to me just felt like scattered needle drops of songs that wouldn't be written for another 30 years. And so I guess I'm the old guy who was like, I didn't get it, but like, I didn't get it. I don't understand.
With the William S. Burroughs type of guy, the only needle drops I want to see is heroin.
Well done.
I imagine that
you see a little bit of that in there.
I would imagine you see some of that. I mean, I have read this book. I never thought it was much of one that should have been adapted, at least by Luca. I have the same issues as you with all of his movies. I think all of his movies are too long. I think he should be making 80-minute movies, and he insists on like 130-minuters, and they kill every time. It drives me insane.
It really does. Like, dude, in this movie, I was like, oh, so he's going back to the bar to try to get laid for the 5th time. It was like, I got it. You know what I mean? I was like, everyone in the room understands this bit about Daniel Craig. Let's keep the story moving, and it just does not happen. So that's me. You know, again, I think this is another big end of the year push, limited release right around Thanksgiving. With, you know, I hope some expansion. I hope that people can see these wild ass sex scenes, man. They are the best part of the movie.
The same way, I'm sure, like, Jolie's going to get something for Maria. Even if she doesn't win, she'll get noms. Craig will be getting his noms for this. This is a good reason to put him on that list. And I think they probably will.
You know what's funny is I spent the whole movie being like, man, this is so cool. I mean, because like Benoit Blanc is such a cartoon character. Bond in his own way is a cartoon character, right? Even Craig's. So with this, I was like, it's awesome to see him like do this, like, you know, really risky new performance. I can't remember the last time I saw him do something like this. And there's a moment in the movie where he whips out like a black, it's like a PPK looking pistol and points it at somebody, and I was like, "Oh, there he is!"
God damn. I thought you were saying he whips out a black PP. I'm like, "Oh, what's this? Is this one of the sex scenes?"
No.
Is he the Spider-Man villain, the chameleon?
I gotta say, for all that goes on in the movie, and there's some wild shit happening in it, not enough fucking ding dongs.
What?
You know? Yeah.
Dong drops.
Yeah, more dong drops.
Yeah,
less fucking Nirvana and Prince drops.
I want to see that grandfather clock go back and forth. You got down there.
Oh, Lord Almighty! All right, let's move on. I think this was a real fantastic one here. I think Chris, you and I were the only ones that saw this.
Yeah, I missed this one as well.
From Almodóvar, man. Here he comes with The Room Next Door. This is his English language feature debut. He's done 2 shorts, of course, in English. But Chris, you want to take it away with this one?
Sure. It's I thought it was very good. You know, it's mostly Julia Moore and Tilda Swinton. Tilda Swinton has recently gotten cancer, and Julia Moore is an old friend. The extent to which they were friends or acquaintances, like, it's never clearly mapped out in any way. That you know that they were close, but you don't know exactly the extent of it, really. And Tilda Swinton makes her an offer having to do with the cancer. That means they have to live together for a little while. And I think it's one thing that I think that it misses is Almodóvar's sense of humor. I think this was a lot less funnier than I'm used to him, but it is dramatically so live and so immediately engaging. and like it's shot like an Almodóvar movie, so it looks incredible. So like I never was out of it. I was in it the whole time, and the performances are absolutely fantastic. And if John Turturro comes in for a little bit, he's very good. It's actually, I mean, we'll talk about it in a minute with O Canada. It's also a difference of like a little bit of a difference is not a bad thing with auteurs like this. Like I think Schrader makes some very decisions that are completely different from those 3 movies he just made. This feels a little different from Almodóvar. He has little things that he picks up. There's still deck chairs, which he loves. But there's all these other new things that he's trying, like the wooded areas, like stuff like that. It just has not been in Almodóvar movies really that much. And like, it's just immediately interesting to see him play with these things.
Yeah, he's much more of a city and beach guy, I guess. I was totally in this movie. It's by the way, congratulations, kudos on dancing around how to talk about what this movie's about, because I went into it cold, other than Almodóvar and Tilda and Julianne and Turturro. And the only reason I knew that the 3 of them were in the movie was because they were listed on the call sheet for the press conference afterwards. You know what I mean? I had not. I try, especially with these guys, like when it's like an art house event guy, or gal, like a Kelly Reichardt movie too. Like I try to, stay as cold as possible. And so when the turn goes here, I was like, oh, I could see why Almodóvar wanted to direct this. Like, I love that his sense of the the soap opera vibe that he accompanies so many of his movies, if not all of them to a degree, is it was not lost in translation. Like, it's still there, and that's why I think a lot of this was funny to me. I mean, it's such a grim subject matter overall, but I did find a lot of moments of levity here and there. And Turturro, really, it's just like a really great spice. It's such a small role, and to hear him talk about it, I guess him and Pedro are buds, and he was like, I'll do whatever you need. He was very cool about it. Like, he just wanted to be in it, because it's like very little Turturro screen time, but the two of them are fantastic, and I fucking loved it, man. I really did.
Yeah, I think like Turturro works in this role because he does have a similar cadence as some of, like, unless it's like Banderas or Bernal, like he likes women in his movies. He prefers women leads. So masculine like entrances are very like pointed and punctuated in a very specific way. Usually they're husbands and stuff like that. It's not the case here. And I like that he seems to pick up on how men usually act in these worlds with Almodóvar.
Yeah, you're right.
He does have a very similar taste as a lot of guys in like Broken Embraces, Bad Education, although Bad Education is a male-led one. Voltaire there.
Right. Yeah. Great New York stuff. What you have of New York in this movie looks gorgeous. Yep. The killer. So Eric, how about this? They go to stay at a house in the Catskills.
Oh,
right. And cut to this house, and you're like, holy smokes, look at this fucking place. I wonder if this is on any of the real estate things I use. Nope, that was totally in Spain. Like, it's just like boom. I'm watching the movie, and I was like,
Spain for Catskills? No,
dude, I started looking at trees for a second, and I was like,
no.
Wait a second.
It's already happened, Eric.
I gotta invent time travel now.
Sorry, dude. I shouldn't have brought it up.
No, that's really disturbing.
No, this is going to be high atop my best of list for the end of the year. In no surprise, Sony Pictures Classics has an Almodóvar movie once again, limited right around Christmas, 12/20. It'll be interesting to see the push for it, because I would be curious, could this actually happen? I don't know the rules for this, but like Room Next Door, it's Almodóvar, it's fully financed by Spain. Could they put this? I don't know if they've selected an international feature yet for the Oscars. Could you do that? I mean, I guess you
probably could.
Right?
I bet you can.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why. I mean, I think I would have. I'm usually like Almodóvar usually has very few movies that I don't like. I like most of his movies, and I've seen all but his first one. And he is one that comes back and forth. Like some I'm like, that was just good. And some of this are like, that was incredible. And I think I would have reacted to this stronger if I had just not seen one of my favorites. Parallel Mothers to me is one of his best by a
fabulous
mile.
movie.
Unbelievable movie. And like
fabulous
this
movie.
I think I maybe was coming off a little of the high of something that big and that like politically outraged. I mean, this has its own politics that are I think pretty good and pretty bold. But I think that might have been why it didn't like blow me out. Like I was just like, oh, that was great. That was just a good Almodóvar movie.
Sure.
I think that's maybe where it came from.
So I think on both sides of this, to varying degrees, on both sides of this, go see that movie. Okay, we are just past the top of the hour here, so we want to get to the last review of the evening, and this is one the three of us were all looking forward to. It's the new one from Mr. Paul Schrader. It is called Oh Canada, and it is with Kino Lorber, which is
weird.
Fine. Limited release on 12/6. Yeah, from First Reformed being A24 card counter focus features, and then Master Gardener Magnolia Pictures. And this isn't like a quality thing I'm doing. This is just on your scope, your reach, your size of your company. And then Kino Lorber, like we're getting smaller and smaller studios here. And I think with this one, Kino's got a little bit of a gem on their hands, I have to say. I think some of the buyers from the bigger distributors missed the mark on this one. That's just me.
See, I preferred the other ones because those have like a guy with a gun. You know? But I do appreciate what this is doing. This is it's interesting because it's a guy who's like, he runs away from everything in his life. He runs away from Vietnam. He ends up in Canada. It's a stark and honest kind of portrayal. It's an interesting movie. I think Gere is very good. Uma Thurman's good. Jacob Elordi is good. One of my issues with it is, and this is really, really minor. It's some of the locations are great and they look really good.
Yes.
There's a scene where the younger Jacob Elordi plays young Richard Gere, and he's going to an airport in Virginia where it's underlined we're in Virginia. They pull up to the airport on Long Island, and there is a crest of Long Island on the side of the building. Like, could you have at least done a different angle, taken it out and posed? That took me out of the movie because, I see the shape of Long Island and I freak out.
Now, did you happen to notice? Because that's funny. It's wait, which airport is it?
I guess Islip or something.
Oh, Islip. Yeah. Oh,
I'm imagining.
I flew out of Islip one time. Also in that same shot though, and this took me out of it, but I was like, what are you going to do, man? It's a small budgeted movie. I guess maybe get some sort of coordinators to like close the parking lot that day, but like it's supposed to be, the early 60s. He's getting dropped off at the airport and they've got like 4 or 5 period cars like pulling into the airport. But then you look and there's, I don't know if it was like a rental car parking lot or what, but like in the back of this frame, it's just the most modern cars.
Yes.
And just like rows of them.
If it was just that, I could forgive it because there's some interesting stuff they do and Schrader does in this movie where, Richard Gere is in the mirror and then Jacob Elordi is in real life in this scene. So doing that with cars and other things, like bridging the modern to 1968 would be interesting.
Yeah.
But I just can't forgive that Long Island.
I think Gere is fantastic in this movie. I think it's clearly Schrader getting some stuff off his chest, and I find it really interesting that like this year, and other people have made this comparison. This is not an original thought, but now that I've seen both of the movies, this and the Cronenberg, man.
Oh yeah.
Like here are these two like heavy hitter directors, more sunsets behind them than in front of them, and they're really like getting some stuff off their chest in their very different but very signature ways. I guess minus Elordi like scribbling with a whiskey in one hand and a gun somehow in a third hand. No firearms, but he is a writer at the start of the movie. But anyway, I just think it's very interesting getting these two very like personal and confessional films out of these fellas. It's kind of cool.
I felt this was way more confessional than even the last three, even though those all seem to very much come from very deep personal spaces for him.
Sure.
I mean, this just it felt like a very personal statement from a very quiet place within him that he's been trying to get in contact with for a while. And I think this was just a movie that I finally hit. And I do think it was funny. I was reading an interview recently that I guess he had done at a Q&A for one of these screenings, and he was like, "Yeah, Richard's good, but like any other performer would have done."
Oh, I saw that.
It's just like, okay, man, that's
classic
whatever,
Paul.
Thank you,
classic Paul.
But I think Gere hasn't been this great in a long time. He hasn't like really like walked out and been like, I'm going to try something here. Last time Oren Moverman's Time Out of Mind, which is pretty good, was the last time I saw him like really swing.
Sure, yeah, I remember that movie.
But this is so much darker and like so much. He works with unease in such a very particular way as to the relationship between him and Uma, and the relationship between him and Michael Imperioli's character.
Imperioli in this movie, man, that's pretty wild.
Great.
Definitely putting on a Canadian accent. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like,
I like it.
I'm like, do I buy him as Canadian? Not really, but that's all right.
Oh yeah, it's hard with a guy like that, so known for such a big certain kind of character. But it's cool seeing him in other stuff now.
Yeah, I prepaid for him. I was all in on him. Whatever he was going to try. I do like he doesn't do the touch up thing or the digital stuff. Michael Imperioli plays himself as like a 20-something-year-old or something, and he just has black hair, just has dyed the hair black, old school, whatever. That's much more to me, so much better than like, well, if we can make Robert De Niro look like he's got 70% less fucking wrinkles.
I know.
Like,
no,
is this more convincing, everybody? Huh?
It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting because, like, of course, that is 100% like a budgetary thing, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
But it plays into how I chose to read the movie, and like I don't want to get into my thoughts on like the form that this movie takes because it kind of winds up like spoiling parts of it. So just to say that what Schrader is doing with the form of this movie and certain shots and things added to this movie, I think plays a larger role as to what's going on in the mind of the Gere character. And when I had that thought, the movie started working so much better for me, and I was able to kind of, like look away on some of that stuff. But I think it's an interesting read on the movie, if I do say so myself, I guess. I don't know. It was a thought I had, and I think Schrader doesn't do a lot of stuff like that. He doesn't play with things in that way. At least he hasn't in a while.
Right.
But,
it's very different. It's very different from the recent output of his.
Yeah.
There's usually a gun. To Eric's point, there is usually a gun in the Schrader movie.
Where's my gun?
It's usually there.
Oh, Canada. You guys don't have them.
I guess.
We are in America for a decent portion of the movie, though. They could have found the time.
There's a scene in Florida. Get a gun in there.
Sure.
But anyway, limited release from Kino on 12/6. So that's a real look to your art houses, but also look to your streaming platforms. Because I'm sure it'll be on there sooner or later, and that's fine. Any way you can take in this movie, I think is cool. I mean, I don't know if we mentioned it, but I also thought Uma was really, really good at it.
Yeah,
it's good. I've been a little negative, but it's still a good movie, and you should check it out.
That's all right. So that's it, folks. That is our coverage from the 62nd Annual New York Film Festival. Hope to be back doing it for you next fall as well. Before we go, just some stuff to catch up on. Of course, last week, big week on the Patreon, We Love Movies dropped for our horror movies spectacular, talking about Halloween 4, which was a ball, and the response to that episode has been absolutely fantastic. So if you haven't checked that out yet, people are liking it. It's not just me. And also on Friday, we had the second episode of Too Old for This Shit, talking about the second episode of The Penguin. Still rocking and rolling season. Oh, Eric, you weren't on that episode. What was your letter grade for Penguin?
I listened to it, I edited it, and I agree with you guys completely. It was like a B- to C+. I thought that first episode was very kinetic and very engaging, and I kind of wasn't as into the second episode, but I still like this world we're building, and I'm looking forward to the next installments.
Totally. And then Spooktacular continues, of course, tomorrow. This was a wild one. The Final Destination.
Oh, my God.
2009 3D one. Look at that. Look at that. What are you showing me here?
Oh, yes. This is one of the worst movies we've done in a while on the show, so that's kind of exciting.
You were offended by this movie.
Yeah, I was
so upset. It was great.
You were riled up.
Very upset.
Big week on the Patreon, though, folks, because at that top tier level on Thursday, oh man, it's time for the October edition of Once in a Lifetime. And we are talking about a magnificent made-for-TV thriller called Face of Evil.
Check this out, folks. This is a recommend. This is a fun, crazy domestic thriller serial killer thing. It's on YouTube. It's on Tubi. It's called The Face of Evil, and we're covering it for Once in a Lifetime.
Indeed.
That's right. Shawnee Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. Carol Seaver herself.
Some good kills for a TV movie. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you, CBS. And then we're closing out the week with, holy smokes, a spectacular animation damnation all about, speaking of one of the worst, the Ace Ventura cartoon. And this is an episode where he encounters a couple of witches in a town, you see.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like he's walking around with a jack-o'-lantern on his head there.
It's not fun. Please, it's not fun. Don't.
Yeah, it's not. No, this was
Don't say that.
Terrible cartoon, but very fun episode of us covering a terrible cartoon.
That's right. That's right. So all of that over, of course, on patreon.com/WeHateMovies and the Final Destination We Hate Movies, wherever you get your podcasts, of course. So that's going to do it for New York Film Festival coverage of this edition of On Screen Live. No show next week. Some of us are doing some traveling. Week after that, I think this Monday slot, we're going to be here doing the October mailbag. So keep your eyes peeled to our socials for that. So until next time, I have been Andrew Jupin,
Eric Siska,
Chris Cabin.
Take it easy, folks. Have a good night. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.